And she's like, considering how big your family is and David's family, you're looking at like 700 people probably. But I mean, that's ridiculous. That's insane.
Every single scene feels like a setup, like they're auditioning for a bad soap opera. It's getting so old. And to all the folks just now catching on and whining about how fake this season feels, please, you clearly forgot the iconic moment when Mary was dramatically packing a trailer to flee Utah. Cue the panic and sirens in the background. The implication? The cops were coming. The reality? It was a fire truck. A literal fire truck. And yet they ran that clip more times than the opening credits. Let's just call it what it is. This season isn't just fake, it's boring. Doing a rewatch really hammers it home. The over-the-top fear about Kody going to jail and the whole "we have to flee" plotline, so manufactured. And who really paid the price? Those poor kids, yanked around emotionally just to cash that TLC check. And if that wasn't enough to make your eyes roll into next week, let's talk about Christine and David touring wedding venues before they were even engaged. Like, what are we doing here? Did I miss a memo? Also, let's clear up this 700 guests drama. Christine said if they invited everyone from both of their very large families, it could be that many, but she made it clear the actual guest list would be around 300. She even called the 700 number crazy. So whoever screenshotted that quote and twisted the context just to accuse her of being fake. Congrats, you've outfaked the fakeness you're calling out. We've got so much to dive into today, so let's not waste any time. Let's jump straight into it. Hey everyone, what's up? It's Elena here, and welcome back to my channel Reality Nexus X. Okay, but seriously, does anyone else lie awake at night haunted by the image of Kody dramatically jogging the perimeter of the cul-de-sac lots? I think about it more than I should. Like, why? In real time, it was probably dead silent. All the women just standing there, watching this man do laps around a patch of dirt like he was starring in an emotional sports montage. It's a huge space. How long did he run? It had to feel endless. I physically cringe thinking about it. And the worst part? He thought it was deep. Like, soul-searching, life-affirming deep. Sir, it was awkward. Painfully, secondhand embarrassment levels of awkward. Honestly, everything he does gives me that reaction, but this was peak. Actually, wait, scratch that. Peak might be the infamous pond swim. That moment lives rent-free in my mind. I picture him getting a quarter of the way around and instantly regretting it, but continuing anyway because, of course, he's committed, which is hilarious considering the context. And then you find out the real kicker. During this whole family man saga, he was only seeing Christine and Janelle once a week. Once. And even then, he'd cut visits short so he could go help Robyn's nanny. Meanwhile, the other wives had to handle everything with their kids solo. It's just ridiculous. Kody was right, astonishingly. Sitting in his little circle of lawn chairs, he once declared that COVID will change who you are. And sure, he's changed, but not in the way he probably meant. Hunter hadn't realized it back then, but Kody wasn't transformed by COVID. It just peeled away the last of his mask. What we saw post-COVID wasn't a new Kody, it was the unfiltered version, the one he'd kept hidden when the cameras were rolling. In fact, Gwendolyn even mentioned on her Patreon that he was worse when the cameras weren't around. She may have tried to walk it back later, but that first take? That's the one that rings true. That's the Kody the original 13 kids knew all too well. And let's be honest, he didn't suddenly become awful after getting sick. Long before his dramatic showdown with the Grim Reaper over a 99-degree fever, he was already showing his true colors. Remember when he demanded Janelle kick her sons out of the house, pre-COVID, or when he told Isabel to fly solo for major spinal surgery, also pre-COVID, and his condescending comments about Christine and Janelle taking vacations, when in reality, they were supporting family members through life-altering medical procedures. You guessed it, all before COVID. So no, the pandemic didn't change Kody. It just turned up the volume on who he's always been. Robyn just kills me the way she pleads with Kody to fix his relationships with his kids, like she had nothing to do with the mess. Honestly, she and Kody are a match made in denial heaven. But hey, let's not forget about her perfect Christmas. Because, of course, it wasn't her fault things fell apart. Her hands were too full of crap to help out. And let's be real, if Robyn had actually wanted Kody to repair things with his kids, she might have, I don't know, encouraged him to go with Isabel for her surgery. But no, not a whisper of that. I wanted you to go to a surgery with your daughter, said Robyn never. That big emotional speech about clearing the snowpath and not getting respect feels just as hollow now as it did then. I'm not a tattletale, I just told Kody what Janelle said to me. Translation, I absolutely tattled, but with flair. Enter Robyn, the reigning queen of the Victim Card Olympics. She's not just a player, she owns the whole deck. Then there's Kody, dramatically flopping onto the metaphorical stage with his cringe-worthy performance of Janelle's playing the victim card. Truly, Shakespeare wept. The irony? He sang this while standing next to his favorite wife, nicknamed Sobbin' Robyn, by viewers thanks to nearly 2 decades of recorded performative waterworks. But sure, Kody, Janelle's the problem. Let's talk about Robyn's masterclass in manipulation. Her real estate endgame was always that oversized mansion. But the play? Pretend she didn't want it, so Kody would suddenly want it more. Then feed him lines like, Janelle doesn't want to. You know, just casually turning Janelle into the roadblock while Robyn looks oh so reluctant. Oscar-worthy stuff. Flash to the moment the producer asks Robyn what she told Kody when he bailed early from Christine and Janelle's place to help get Solomon and Ariella ready for school. Robyn's reply, I said it would cause problems with the other wives. Of course, it's always the other wives causing trouble. Meanwhile, Robyn floats above the drama, halo gleaming, somehow always the misunderstood martyr. But the mask? It's slipping, bit by bit. And honestly, it's kind of refreshing. On the first watch through, maybe her act fooled a few people. Now, not so much. The act's old, the game's obvious, and the audience is done playing along. She won, Kody. Congrats, I guess. Enjoy your sulking, manipulative prize. He's all yours now. When the other wives lawyer up, it's going to get ugly. The financial reckoning is coming. The way Kody tried to gaslight Janelle, only for her to clap back with, we signed a terrible deal, was a wake-up call. Not that the deal ever made sense, but at least now we know why nothing's been built after all this time. It's not just dysfunction, it's calculated manipulation. And Robyn? She plays it sweet. Oh hey, Janelle and I bonded today. We agreed on something. Kody, with the intelligence of a damp sponge, lights up. Oh really? What? Then Robyn, full of fox positivity. Well, she asked me not to spend so much money anymore, so I don't eat away at the family's assets. I agreed no one should do that. See? We're totally on the same page. Transparent, childish, and wildly effective. Because Kody's not just gullible, he's proudly gullible. She knows exactly how to pull his strings. And he's too dense to see the puppet show for what it is. I want Janelle to get a spiritual release so badly, I could write the paperwork myself. Now that Mary has gotten hers, and we know their church is open to it, it feels like the stars are aligning. Especially since Janelle brought it up in the last episode. I want her to pursue that release with every fiber of my being. Of course, it's her choice, and I'll support whatever she wants. But still, please. Honestly, the idea that Kody might get another call from the church telling him they're aware he's abandoned his wives, and are officially giving those women the green light to find something better, that alone would be chef's kiss. It would be the tiniest bit of justice. At this point, I'm so anti-Kody, it's almost a hobby. The only way he'd even pretend to feel remorse is if someone he actually respects, like the church leadership, called him out. And I think it's coming. Janelle's hinting way too hard for it not to be in motion. Plus, after everything she's been through, especially losing her son, how could she possibly still want eternity with that man? If she still believes in the faith, which she seems to, there's no way she's okay with that future. And let's talk about Kody's split personality. One face for the scenes, another for the couch interviews. You can feel how bitter he is toward her now. The kicker? The current prophet's daughter said on the Growing Up in Polygamy podcast that Kody actually begged her father not to give Christine and Janelle spiritual releases. That says it all, doesn't it? Christine says everything twice, and I mean everything. Every time she's interviewed on the show, she repeats each sentence like it's echoing in a canyon. Once you notice it, you can't unhear it. And now that I've pointed it out, neither can you. Sorry, not really. Here's the thing. I do this too. Guilty. It's definitely a reflex born from years of not being truly heard. Even when you're finally in a safe, supportive space, that urge to over-explain to make sure you're understood, it lingers. At some point, I realized I'm a repeater. I've worked on it. Honestly, I have. But old habits die hard. And it's not just me. It's a total mom thing. Decades of talking to people, read, kids who don't listen unless you say it 3 times and throw in a snack. Before I had kids, I never did this. But after years of parenting and homeschooling, repeating yourself becomes second nature. You say everything twice because that's what works with tiny humans. Christine's had small kids around for, 20 years straight? And she homeschooled too. That's a recipe for repeating things forever. Honestly, it reminds me of elementary school teachers, bless them, who repeat everything for a living. So yes, it drives me wild. But also, same. Kody's habit of projecting is almost impressive, if it weren't so painfully obvious. Has anyone else noticed that every accusation he throws around is basically a mirror held up to himself? Take his favorite theme, loyalty and betrayal. He's pointed fingers at everyone in his original family for being disloyal, yet he's the one who walked out on them for Robyn. If that's not betrayal, what is? Then there's the whole victim card routine. When Janelle calls out that Robyn ran to Kody to tattle and hints that Robyn is the untouchable sacred cow in the family, Kody shoots back that Janelle just loves playing the victim. The irony is almost too much, because playing the victim is Robyn's entire brand. And let's not forget the land situation. Kody straight up says, I think Janelle would do anything she could to screw me, so she's afraid I'll try to screw her. Projection, party of one. The land division has been a disaster, unfairly handled and conveniently stalled when it comes to buying Janelle out. If anyone's doing the screwing over, it's Kody. Seriously, the man is so see-through, he might as well be made of glass. Is it just me, or does every episode feel like a rerun of itself? Like, am I in a time loop? I swear I've watched this exact episode 10 times already. We get it. Christine and David are getting married. Riveting. Truly earth-shattering stuff. It's not exactly breaking news. Honestly, I'm starting to wonder what the point of these episodes even is. For real, what are we supposed to be watching unfold here? The suspense is non-existent. The pace, glacial. We're 19 seasons deep, and this is somehow the slowest it's ever been. Now, there's this theory floating around that the season was originally focused on Garrison and Gabe's fallout with Kody, but after Garrison's death, they cut all that footage. If that's true, I completely understand their choice, but it would explain a lot. The conversations feel choppy, like someone sliced out half the dialogue, and we're left with the same 2 to 3 points being beaten into the ground every episode. The redundancy is unreal. Christine is over 50, sure, and yes, older people usually know what they want. But let's not pretend that turning 50 magically grants you perfect judgment or immunity from manipulation. Her kids? Grown adults. Great for them. But let's not forget that Truly was 12. 12 is not grown. 12 still believes in fairies territory. And no, I don't feel sorry for Isabel, but I do feel uneasy about the fact that Christine thought it was even remotely okay to move a man she'd known for 6 weeks into a home with her 12-year-old daughter. Weeks. That's not long enough to know someone's favorite color, let alone whether they're safe to be around your kid. Snap judgments might work for ordering coffee, not for cohabiting with near strangers and your child. What's wild is the contradiction. 1 minute, people are saying, well, she was just in a cult, she's never really dated, she's figuring it out. The next, it's she's 50, she knows what she's doing, pick a lane. You don't get to use both excuses. Being inexperienced and wise doesn't really fly when a child's well-being is at stake. Let's also not forget, this isn't her first spontaneous marriage rodeo. She married someone she barely knew at 19, and now she's doing it again at 50. So what exactly did she learn? Look, older moms like me, we had kids later in life. That doesn't mean we get to stop putting them first. Wanting happiness is fine, but protecting your kid? That's non-negotiable. And pretending age equals infallibility is just wishful thinking in mom genes. Oh, so Robyn really said that. In episode 3, Leon, Aspen, Maddie, and Mykelti are chatting about their dad dating Robyn. Mykelti casually drops, Robyn smelled the jacket I was wearing because it was dad's, and she said, I miss your dad. I think that's weird, or something along those lines. Yeah, that's definitely odd. Like, who does that? I'm not typically one to bash Robyn. I get that people have strong opinions about her, and I wanted to see what all the fuss was about, so I started watching from the beginning. It's only episode 3, and even I'm sitting here thinking, okay, that's really weird. Honestly, Robyn just gives me the ick every time she opens her mouth. I can't put my finger on it, but something about her vibe has always felt off. And don't even get me started on how she bursts into tears over literally everything. She got what she wanted, but somehow she's still out here playing the victim card every single episode. It's like a never-ending pity party. I used to love this show, but now it's honestly getting unbearable to watch. Robyn sharing that bizarre, creepy jacket sniffing moment with her friends is one thing, but telling kids about it, that's just inappropriate. It's clear Robyn's just trying to bond with the Brown family by sharing these weird, cringeworthy moments, like, hey, I love your dad, so I'm just like you guys, right? But if that creepy jacket comment didn't win the teens over, maybe throwing in a boy-crazy statement would do the trick. I'm not a threat, I just love your dad, like seriously. And remember, at the time, one of these kids was only 10 years younger than Robyn. The teens even commented on that during the scene where they're planning Robyn's birthday party. I mean, there's a lot of weird going on here. Once again, Aspen is the only actual adult in the room. It's honestly wild that in 9 episodes of David, or 11 if you count the wedding special, Aspen is the only one who ever mentions that David will play a role in raising Truly. How is it that she's the only one making this obvious point? I mean, it's almost comical that Aspen isn't the one needing back surgery after all these years of carrying her whole family's weight, including Christine's. Let's be real, Christine leaned on her way too much. No child should have to take on that much responsibility. And don't even try to play the Kody wasn't around card. Christine knew what polygamy entailed. She understood that Kody wouldn't be there every day. Still, Aspen was left to pick up the slack. It's no wonder she hasn't rushed into having kids of her own. I'm guessing she's more than enjoying her freedom as an adult. It doesn't escape me that Logan and Aspen, who probably did the most in raising their siblings, don't have kids either. Logan and Michelle might have been married only 2 years, but they'd been together much longer before that. They've probably been a couple for close to a decade by now. Aspen and Mitch have been married 6 years, and while both couples might eventually have kids, it seems like they've already raised kids by being the emotional support and caretakers for their siblings. At this point, they might feel like they've checked that box. Let's get real here. What your kids think of your partner is absolutely crucial. especially when that partner is going to be living in the same house as your teenage daughter. I get it. If Christine were an empty nester, maybe things would be different, but she's not. Truly has been through more upheaval than most adults can handle, and her comfort with David should honestly be the priority. Christine should be focusing on Truly's feelings and giving her time to adjust. David will be in their lives for the long haul, and Truly's comfort needs to come first. I know some people won't want to hear this, but Christine is seriously setting herself up to be taken advantage of again. She's exactly the type of woman my dad would prey on. This whole situation is moving way too fast for someone with a minor child still in the house. No one can convince me otherwise. It's reckless, it's ignorant, and it's just plain dangerous. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next video. Take care and much love to you all.